It was the summer of 1977, spring, I guess, still, 1977. I was traveling Europe with a backpack with my buddy, and we'd ended up in Pisa, and it was late at night. Some guys on mopeds picked us up, not mopeds, Vespas. Vespas picked us up. They knew that we were lost. They gave us a lift, and we had backpacks on, holding on to the back of Vespas, and they took off across the middle of nowhere, and they took us off to a campground. We set out. It was a gorgeous evening. The moon was full. It was absolutely beautiful. So we laid our tent aside and our backpacks aside and just set the sleeping bags out, and we slept on the ground. It was probably 1 or 2 in the morning when we got there, so we were already exhausted. About 2 or 3 in the morning, the heavens opened and it started to rain. Just a hard downpour. Temperature change, freezing cold. Everything got soaked. We both took off in the darkness in different directions. The only place I could find to get under was an outhouse. One of those plastic outhouses. I opened the door, I got inside of it, I closed the door up. And at first I sat there on the toilet as it rained outside waiting for the storm to pass, but the storm didn't pass. And then I started falling asleep, and I finally woke up wrapped around this toilet in a public outhouse in a public campground outside of Pisa, Italy. And I thought, life could get no worse than this moment, the way it smells right now. I got up, went outside. I'd left the tent. I'd left the sleeping bag. I'd left everything, my entire backpack, everything I had for all my months on the road outside in the rain. So negligent, so stupid. I was soaked to the bone and cold with miles to go. But I still had all my stuff. And a lot of it inside that backpack, that good old Kelty of mine, was solidly dry even still. When it came time for me to start thinking about what we should give away at Jackets for Jesus at Christmas time, it seemed easy to me that backpacks would be the thing. That would be the best gift of all, because a backpack you can carry right on your back. And a backpack, one of the nice parts about a backpack, well, I always tell people, I used to teach when I was a school teacher, I'd tell people, carry a backpack. I carried a backpack in high school, all the way back in 1970, 71, 72. You can look at pictures of me in high school. I had a little Boy Scout backpack that I carried on my back way before they were popular. When I was a school teacher, before they were popular, I would tell students, go get a backpack. Put everything you need in them for every single class. Sit in one of the front rows of every class that you go to. And you'll always have your book, you'll always have your pencil, you always have your paper, and even if you hate the class and don't get along with the teacher, you will excel because you won't have to say, I don't have my book, I don't have a pencil, I don't have paper, I don't have these things. You will be prepared. And being prepared is huge in learning. You see, even when I got soaked, even when I went through the storm, I still had my stuff with me. When you're homeless, you're separated from your family. That's heartbreaking. When you're homeless, you're separated from so much of society that ignores you and casts you out and doesn't want to acknowledge who you are, recognize where you're at. When you're homeless, you don't have a place to put everything that you need. And it has to be reduced down to the very simple, the essential of what you need for life. And you see, if you're doing that, as a person who has wealth and you're thinking, I'd like to simplify, I'd like to learn how to reduce, you're doing that by choice. But if you're doing that out of poverty, it's because this is all I've got. And it needs to be protected. I can't have anybody steal this. And so you have a backpack. So behind me are hundreds of backpacks, 700 backpacks actually. And at Christmas, we'll take those to the streets and we'll give them away. Normally by this time, 300 or 400 of them are already filled. I went to Orange County yesterday thinking that I'd have a whole lot of friends contact me to drop them off. Nobody did. And so I've got all these that between now and Sunday night, December 22nd, I've already promised all my friends on the streets that we're going to have the backpack party. They're all going to be filled. But this is what happens on the backpack party if they don't get filled. We hand out empty backpacks. But the goal is to take a backpack like this, just a brand new backpack that we give to you. Not a $50 backpack, but an inexpensive backpack, but one that will last nearly a year for many of the guys who take care of it. And then for you to take it and to fill it up with what you would want if you were on the streets. Some of you, spiritually, you'll think, I'd want a Bible if I were on the streets. Some of you will think about your hygiene And you'll want all your hygiene things. You'll put shampoo, you'll put soap. Some of you will think about your mental health. And you'll think, I'm going to put a pair of running shoes in there. I always put a pair of running shoes in mine. I save my running shoes throughout the year. I throw them in the washer and dryer, and I clean them up, and I make sure that I have running shoes from this past year to put in there. And it gives me a good excuse to buy new shoes for the year ahead. Some of you will say underwear, socks. Some of you will say, man, I would need some coffee, and you'll put an Amazon card in there. Some of you will put all of those things in there. It's not an inexpensive effort filling up these things if you take one of these. Believe me, I've done it across the years. I try to do 4 myself every single year. And I'd tell people between $50 and $75 worth of stuff you'll end up sticking in there. And don't believe me now, just take one and fill it up. But as you do it, this is what you'll do. You'll think to yourself about someone that you've seen on a corner. You'll think to yourself about a friend. I can't tell you how many friends I've thought about across the years that I know on the streets. And you'll fill it up, and they'll be in your mind as you fill it up. You'll go and you see, that closet that's full of coats. I don't wear those coats too often anymore. And that's where we got the name for Jackets for Jesus. Let those who have 2 coats give 1 to those who have none. And you'll go and you'll pull one of those coats out for each of your backpacks, and you'll put it in there. It's still really good, and it'll be a good coat for someone else. You'll go to 99-cent store and you'll buy some candy. Me, when I'm eating poorly, I eat candy. And so I know if I were on the streets, I'd want some candy. You'll put some candy in there. You'll go and you'll make sure that maybe you buy a Starbucks gift card, and you'll put that gift card in there. Maybe you'll write a note. I want you to know that I may never speak to you or may never meet you. But as I filled this pack, I thought about you and I was praying for you. I hope you have a Merry Christmas wherever it is that you're going to spend it. It was a lonely morning waking up inside of that outhouse in Pisa and going outside and finding everything wet, and then having to look at my friend, Brad. He had found a place underneath a picnic table where he was dry all night, and he had pulled his backpack underneath his picnic table with him. So his backpack, his stuff, everything was dry. He was dry. I said, Brad, how come you didn't come and get me? He said, I didn't know where you were at. So while all my junk was completely soaked, his stuff was dry. And I was angry at him. Imagine the anger there could be at Christmas when people see the wealth, they see the joy. They see the cars in downtown LA with great big ribbons on them. They see people celebrate Christmas while they're on the streets. We have the opportunity to bring the celebration to people who are so often cast aside. You can help me. You can come with Jackets for Jesus. This isn't meant to be a guilt trip. This is meant to be a celebration, I promise you. It's a celebration when we have the party on the streets. It is filled with so much joy, and you are invited to share that joy. I've got a friend who's promised me she's going to take care of 1 box. There's 24 or 25 backpacks in a box with her family. They'll have a backpack party, filling party. Just call some of your friends. If just, 15 of my friends, whatever, 20 of my friends, each one had a backpacking party, all of those would be filled and we'd be taken care of. We can do this. We can do this together. And then you should come with us on Sunday night, December 22nd. It's a good time. I'd love to introduce you to my friends on the streets. It's a crowd. I would love for you to be a part of it. Come out, because you see, when you stay in, it's easy to become just mediocre and to feel like there's no place for you to go. People hear my stories about being caught in rainstorms outside of Pisa, Italy, and they say, I wish I had an adventure like that. This is how I've had adventures like that. I went outside. If you keep on staying inside, you're going to keep on living a life of mediocrity. But when you go outside, you're going to have a life that's miraculous in ways that people say, I wish I had a story like that. Come out with me. Let's go to the streets together. Let's bring joy in places where the world just ignores people. Let's bring celebration at Christmas in a simple, wonderful way in a backpack. Help me be the miracle this Christmas on the streets of Los Angeles by filling a backpack. Together we can be the miracle. God bless you. Have an absolutely fantastic Sunday tomorrow. If you don't have plans, come to Church Central Community. I'm preaching on the journey. That's tomorrow on the second Sunday of Advent. God bless you.